True story. True story. It's so true that you can check it out. When I say I relate to Job, I relate to Job because I am Job. And so are many of you. When you start out and you love Yahweh, you get a fear of Yahweh. See, you haven't been tested until you get these things happen to you in your life. And if you still can fear Yahweh and hold on to Yahweh, ooh, it's something great with you. It's something great with you, I'm telling you. See, I fear Yahweh. I fear Yud, Hey Wav. I fear the Yud of all Yuds. Am I Job? Yes. Are you Job? You can be. You can be shown to be. Said Job was full of grief and Job was all these things happening to him. Well, when you look up the name Job, you will understand that Job means patience. He is the one of great patience. Job had all his wealth taken from him. Job had his children taken from him. But what Job didn't have was taken from him was a nagging wife. A nagging wife. Somehow, some way, everything else can be taken from Job, but that nagging wife, that irritating wife that says foolish things, that speaketh like the foolish women that's out in the world today. She don't speak like a wise woman. She don't speak and act like Proverbs 31, the woman of that. No. She speaketh like the foolish women. So when I look at my life and all the things that have happened to me, I look at you say, well, was your wealth taken from you? Yes, I have businesses that I've had and Yahweh allowed them to be taken. Yahweh talked to Lucifer and told Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? And what did Satan say? Remove thy hedge. Or no, he didn't say remove thy hedge, excuse me. He said put forth thy hand. Ooh, yes, that's what he said. He said, Yahweh said that Lucifer said, put forth thy hand. Let's go to Job chapter 1. Job chapter 1. Yeah, we're going to look down into verse 7. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord Yahweh and said, from going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? Look, Yahweh, all those people who say they know Yahweh or know God or know the God of the Bible, and they get mad at evil and stuff like that, they don't know. They don't know. They just talking and rehearsing and speaking like parrots of their own emotions or what somebody else said, and they taking it into themselves to rehearse it. Because here I read where Yahweh asked Satan if he considered Job. Job minding his business. He looking like, Yahweh, why you What are you introducing me to him to be considered about? But Yahweh said, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil. And that's how I was. I went around talking to Yahweh, preaching Yahweh, being Yahweh, talking the laws, preaching the law, everything. Raising my children in Yahweh University, everything. You know. When my family members saw me, they saw Yahweh. When they saw my children, they saw Yahweh. When my friends, my so-called friends in the earth and everything saw me, they saw Yahweh. When they saw my children, they saw Yahweh. When they saw my wife, they saw Yahweh. Uh-oh. Whew. But Satan said something down in verse 9 to the Lord Yahweh. Does basically I fear Yahweh for nothing? Verse 10, has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Yes, everything about me is increased. He's blessed my hands. He blessed my house. I had businesses, I had job, houses, things all coming back to back. It just nothing would touch me. Nothing would touch me. I had my mother and my father. A lot of people didn't have their mother and their father in their life. So guess what happened? Yahweh told Lucifer something. Because Lucifer said in verse 11, put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And Yahweh said unto him, behold, all that he has, you know, you have things you have a son, you have a daughter, you have children, you have finances and wealth and houses and all these different things. You even have a wife or a husband. So I had a wife, or I have a wife. Yahweh said, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord Yahweh. And you better believe he did all of that. He put forth his hand on every single thing that I had. You could think about it. He put his hands on it. He took it. He took it. He took everything that I had but that nagging wife. That foolish wife that speak like the foolish women. Because when you get to Job chapter 2 and all of this stuff is going on, you'll see where Job's wife said something to him. Let's go over to Job chapter 2. Job chapter 2 verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? Why, after all this stuff, you still retaining thy integrity? Basically, you still want to sit and praise Yahweh. You still want to talk about all this stuff with Yahweh. You still want to be preaching Yahweh. You still want to be talking about what he can do for you and how he can make you this and make you that when he took it all. Yes, Yahweh took it all, even my children. To this world. Like I said, documented and proven. You can see. You can see documented and proven how they were raised, what they were taught to do and taught not to do. And then you look at them today and see how they look and watch how they act. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Yahweh. You could see it. So when I come around or they see me and they sitting there and they like, he's still over there talking this Yahweh stuff. You still going, why don't you just curse God? Basically, why don't you just forget about that and just die? Die like the rest of us. Die on out, because you had all those things and he still allowed all these things to happen to you. See, what the problem is they don't think like I think. They don't breathe like I breathe. They didn't have certain things put in their nostrils to make them a living soul. Personally, by Yahweh. Oh, Yahweh. But Job says something. He said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women, in verse 10. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh? And shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. There you have it. With all of that, no matter what, you see, I'm going to still praise and worship Yahweh no matter what is taking place. Because you better believe later on in there, Job ended up with new children. Job ended up with more wealth and all that stuff all over again. And I want to share a secret with you. You are my wife. Every single one of you who come and talk against Yahweh and telling me to stop following what you're doing. You, all the different religions on this earth that come and try to talk against who Yahweh is and what he isn't. You are my wives. All of you who come to try to prove to me that the Bible is not it. See, because that was Lucifer's job in Job chapter 1. That's why he was going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it to do what? Preach hate on Yahweh. Preach hate about Yahweh. Preach all these negative things about Yahweh, about the God of the Bible, and how it ain't true, and how that ain't true, and this ain't true. Y'all still believing in that? They got everybody thinking, oh, I am the one. They tell you to point to yourself and say, I am the one. You are the one. But you better believe that there's one greater than you. See, there's a lesser light and a greater light. He is and she is the greater light. And I say it like that in duality because he can be and she can be either way. Because Yahweh, that's why he tell you to worship him in spirit. He's not the flesh. He could come in any form he chooses. And you could tell when you're talking to Yahweh. And he don't have to be in one flesh. He could be in multiple. Many. At any given time. Any given time. I am Job. And I deal daily with that nagging wife that speaketh foolishly like the foolish women. Shalom.